Do you know
So
the kind of thing?
flexible.
Like, is there prep work? Like, do you get a scout day or anything? Like, do you know what the kind of thing you're going into?
Well,
or is it just kind of blind show up?
In an ideal situation, we have a puppet captain on most like shows that are like, where puppets are the main feature. We'll have a puppet captain. And so they'll be part of the production meetings and pre-plan everything. And of course, just like anything else, like there's going to be unexpected stuff on the day that they will also be able to troubleshoot like as we get to it. But yeah, no, so we're not usually there.
Yeah.
But Bradley's been a part of the pigeon meetings as like the one and only puppeteer. And he'll sort of help as much as he can. But it helps to also have like a production who like a producers who've worked with puppets before because it's so different from anything else.
So it's kind of weird. I like your SAG.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm assuming like a lot of people probably think of the puppet itself as set deck or props or, it's like what kind of category do you really fit into?
I'm SAG. I'm a performer. We all do voices and we all voice our own puppets for the most part. There's obviously exceptions like crank yankers. They're obviously lip syncing over pre-recorded calls. But I've not experienced it myself, but there's definitely been puppeteers who've been categorized as like stunt or props on other movie sets, which is not accurate.
Stunt
because we're performing. People kind of like forget, and maybe it's because we do such a good job making it feel like a actual sense and creature. Like you forget that there's just like a human manipulating and performing that and making it. Believable.
I mean, you do forget like when the camera's cut and they stay in character. That's my favorite thing.
Oh, that's
world.
Magic. Yeah, watching all those like outtakes from like Muppets Tonight.
The grip's like adjusting it. You're like, don't make it fall on my head. Or
yeah. I mean, they are an extension of us for sure.
It's magical.
Yeah, we don't.
Is it just easier to stay in that headspace between takes, kind of thing?
It's just fun.
Yeah,
it's more for fun and to kind of keep that energy or stay in the character. But it's also not like we only talk through the character and they live in our head. It's
well, I guess like to that same point, do you get to meet, like if you have a celebrity on Sesame Street or something, do you get to meet them beforehand, or is it just they only meet the Muppet?
No. We'll meet them. I mean, the thing is, like, my character's not like famous enough that like they're like, okay, nice to meet you, but when am I gonna actually meet Elmo? And so, but it is nice because it's such a weird thing, and because we are like again at crotch level to introduce yourself and like show that like I am a nice normal person. Hi, we're
in the same union.
And it's
I'll
like
be down here.
It's just nice to be like, hi. So my name's Kathleen. I perform Chi-Young. So nice to meet you. So I'll be down here, and and especially for the kids too. Like it depends, but to just kind of prep them and be like.
There's got to
so
be kids that completely ignore you and just think
grown-ups completely ignore us. Yeah. Grown-ups completely ignore us, like and like it even is still magic. Like there are people on the crew who, I mean, like it's magical, and we on Sesame we have some of the best performers, not even just puppeteers, like performers in the world, character performers, and it's just magical what they do. Snuffleupagus? You've never seen Snuffleupagus?
I've never seen, no.
Because Jessica mostly works in like our smaller remote studio on the Kaufman. When Snuffleupagus comes out,
it's got to be like 3 or 4 people, right?
It's 2 people.
Okay.
Marty Robinson, who also plays Telly and Slimy, and he's been doing
all these puppets.
You don't know Slimy?
No.
Telly Monster?
No.
You're kidding me. That hurts my feelings.
I did not watch Sesame Street to an adult age.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, but Slimy and Telly Monster, they were old guard Muppets. Anyway, so Snuffy, he's like a big woolly mammoth looking thing. Marty has been playing he's like it's crazy because he explained it to us and he showed us the inner workings, and it's like, those like organs where it's like, like a one-man band where like, phew, crank, crank, and you're playing the organ at the same time. Like that's what he's doing in there. It's crazy. His feet are in Snuffy's front feet. And then there's like a PVC pipe for his like trunk. So he could do that. But then he comes out and then he has to put his hand in his lower lip to flap it, be like, oh, hi, bird. And then there's like controls for like his eyes to go left and right and for his eyelashes. Yeah, or his eyelids. And then there's a man who they bring in, Bryant Young, and he's been Snuffy's backside for decades. He's not a puppeteer. He was a trained dancer. And now I think he's like a buyer for fancy like hotel furniture, but like they just fly him in like the 1 or 2 times a year to be Snuffy's butt. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like
great resume.
That's my new dream job.
No, it's not because Marty, like sometimes if they need to put somebody in really quick for like a photo op, like he'll put a new guy in
and it's just
he'll
back
mess
2
with
feet.
them.
It's just the back 2 feet.
It's the back 2 feet, but you also have to sort of round your back so that you round out his backside, and you can't be up or else you'll see, your head sticking up. So you kind of have to do this, and also it's Snuffy, so you have to be at a wide stance. So
You've
you're
done
walking.
this before,
No, I
haven't you?
haven't. I've heard so many horror stories of like what he'll do because Marty's like a stinker. He's like
He would mess on.
he's such a funny guy, and so he's like he'll be like, "You ready?" I think so. And then he'll just take
Just
off.
run.
And you're like, I'm in like a 6-figure costume and I'm going to fall and trip over a wire and like bring this whole thing down. And you're just like, oh God, oh God, oh God. Like that's the story that I hear a lot.
Is there any like way to view out Snuffy's butt or like
I think he
or you're
mostly
just blind,
they
you're
have
just like going
no,
You're
well,
just following him.
just like Big Bird, you get. I mean, not for photos. I think you are just blind in the dark. But I think when they're shooting something, it's like Big Bird has a little chest monitor. Yeah,
Oh,
and so
okay.
that's how they're inside this costume, like looking at the camera image. So it's not even like
they have control of the tail or anything? Or?
no, it just kind of sweeps behind him. And but anyway, I know how it works. I've seen him zipped open and 2 people come out, and it's magic. Like it doesn't matter how long you've been working on Sesame Street. Like Snuffy comes out, all the phones come out because he genuinely feels like a real Snuffleupagus, and it's magical. Yeah. So anyway, going back to like kids forgetting that we're down there, grown-ups forget that we're down there. I've been on shoots where like the producer, the director will come up and be like to my puppet, like, so on this next shot, we need to, I'm like, I'm here. This is not alive. Like, what are you doing?
You're like, okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
I've done that. I'm guilty of that so much. Like, I've done it to Ryan where I'm like, hey, Ryan. But then I start talking to Elmo because he has his arm up and
he
he's
looks-
like looking at
he
me.
looks so alive.
So I'm like talking directly to Elmo. And I know Ryan's there. And then I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I've done it with Cookie.
I guess if you have a new crew member coming into a puppet job for the first time, what are like 3 things that you would love that person to know? Like, don't touch the eyes.
I was going to say, she really loves it when you touch the puppet's eye. No, don't do it. Just touch the puppet in general.
As did you ever see that Christopher Walken SNL sketch of like the googly eye gardener where he puts googly eyes on all of his plants because he doesn't trust them, and then he goes, remember what Churchill said, the eyes are like the window to your face. Anyways, but the eyes are the window to the face, and so they're very important and they're very delicate, and like so when we take Elmo off and put him on like the wrangling station, like he has this like little eye cozy. Like a little
goggles?
No, it's like a little soft little like eye cozy.
Oh, he's got a sleep mask.
Yeah.
Kind of. It just goes on his eyes.
Is it because they're glass
like
or
a
something?
little-
Like you don't like.
No, they're just delicate and they can scratch, and like that is like such the main focus of the character's face. But no, the main thing that I tell people, and it's like so well, the number one thing is that we need monitors. Like they're not going to assume to, and they'll bring one, and we're like, well, what are the rest of us going to do? We
There's
can't
5
see.
puppets.
Yeah,
They
and so,
new people never understand how many monitors are needed. And also, pterodactyls are not allowed. There has to be
Hardwired.
SDI running
has-
into
Just because of a delay? Or
Yeah. And
And
pterodactyls,
also, they're kind of unrelative sometimes too. We'll
they
use
can
them in like
be-
the costumes, and
Yeah.
I there have been so many times where we've had to like stop production to
because with Big Bird is the one who gets like a tiny monitor here with pterodactyl, and so often we just sit there and wait because the pterodactyl is just not working, and we need to there's just.
because Big Bird's a concrete uniform that you
Apparently.
can't,
It's just
can't shoot a wireless signal
It's
through.
just it's just not
no, because like
talking
once
to
he's
it,
in there,
and-
he's in there. Like when you see
yeah.
full body Big Bird, it's the legs are his pants, and then he slips into this his feet or his shoes, and then they lower the big bird onto
like a crane.
him. Yeah, no, it's like one of our wranglers who's really it's a skill set because it's like threading a giant needle. Otherwise, like Matt's like looking for it, and it's like it's a very delicate. It's not delicate, but it's like it's a very expensive, beautiful puppet.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous, but no, it's not like lowered on, but it's heavy, and so we can't have Matt in there any longer than he needs to be. I thought in my mind, it was just like a costume, and it's like he's got like and it just kind of sits there. The weight of like I don't know how many tens of thousands of feathers and like the structure, which is as light as it possibly could be, but it's still heavy, is here. Mm-hmm. It's just here. He's supporting all of Big Bird on the top of his hand, and then with his thumb, it's like imagine just like. It's not this, it's a long beak. And so just think about like the weight of that. And anyway, there's a few people who've like done it. Jen does Granny Bird and Marty's like stepped in a couple times, but it's like everybody says like hands down it is the hardest puppet to do on Sesame Street. And Carol Spinney, who originated the role, did it into his 70s, and we're like roller skated in Big Bird. It like nobody else has done it since him because we're like.
I guess if you do it that long, you build up these weird muscles that no one else has.
Yeah, no, then it definitely he felt them like in his later years, but.
Avid rock climber.
What's that?
Avid.
Just think about taking rock climbing just for that to build up these muscles.